Hey, back again. We are at the Yellow Dog Falls Trailhead. This is a really cool trail that runs along Yellow Dog River in Marquette County here in the UP. I've been here 3 or 4 times and I love it. Summer, beginning of fall, end of fall, and now I'm here in the winter. So I'm hitting 3 seasons in the same year with this location. It's about 45 minutes from my house, almost an hour drive really. But it was an easy drive. The roads were plowed really well, and in fact the snow packed down this gravel road and made it much easier to travel than it was in the summer. So let's go. We got some waterfalls to hit. Come along. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got some ice here. The river diverges in 2 parts. More flowing water on the back side of those 2 trees there. And then over here, looks like we've got some ice. So I've had some success in this area before, but it's so pretty and so just interesting that it's hard to fail. When you've got cascades of waterfalls and beautiful fall colors and moss on rocks and all of those things, it's really hard to fail. Just put the tripod down, look at something, and I'm sure you can make a good shot out of it. Approaching an area where I can go hang around the first cascade, which is a nice, magnificent cascade. Nice and tall, lots to work with. So when I'm close, I'll try to speak up because that water's rushing and I have to try and not slipping on my behind and hurting myself here. So I'm gonna put you away for a second and you'll come back when I'm there. Okay, this is the first cascade, the first waterfall. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We've got lots of ice to work with. One thing I wasn't really prepared for was the tannins in the water kind of staining the snow. I was hoping for it to be a little bit more monochromatic, a little bit more Christmassy, bright, a little bit more scenic. Just looks like dirty snow in some spots, so I may or may not clean that up in Photoshop. That does seem a little bit like a stretch for me. I would much rather it look the way it mostly looked to my eye. I don't think I want to take that discoloration away, because that's a property of the water. All right. Let's find a spot to safely set down and move around. very pretty scene right in front of me. The main waterfall kind of cuts one way and then zigzags another way. And I have a really nice sweeping edge, a curve of the snowbank. It's very clean. I think that'll be my first shot. In fact, I'm gonna take you along so you can see how I'm shooting it. Okay, I have decided on a panorama. But you'll see the camera is vertically oriented. This is something I like to do often. I'm getting compression at 60 mil, so roughly halfway through the range of this lens. Actually I'm at 70 millimeter, and I'm trying to cut the right side off before it gets to this tree, so eliminating that distraction. So there's the edge of my frame, and then I want to include just about to the edge. Where am I pointing? Where am I pointing? Right there, just about to the edge of this stuff right here. So including that, and then all the way down here, right around there, to where the water kind of zigzags back over. I'm gonna do that now, and if it worked out, you'll see it now. I'm now gonna zoom in a little bit and focus on some details. This is a moment where I'm really wishing I had like a 70 to 200. 105 is nice for some details, but I can't get as close as I used to be able to get in the summer, where I could see where the rock drops off into the water. I'm probably backed off about 5 feet from where I was in the summer, and I'm feeling that difference at 105 of where I was in relation to the subject. I could have brought the 150 to 600, but I already had a fairly full bag and I didn't want to have to pack that out real heavy. But I could have used that, 200 to 300 range. Just shooting like, 20 feet down, I would like to tighten up on some of those details, but we'll see what 33 megapixels will give me if I end up cropping any of these. I do have one wide shot I like the look of, 28 mil. I did this shot in the summer. This one looks a little okay because that snow is kind of covering the leafless trees right now. It doesn't look too barren. It's pretty, and that's about it. All right, I think it's time to move on a little bit. Well, unlucky for me, the tracks I was following stopped right there along the river. However, I know that I'm not too far from the next couple of cascades. Deep here. It's not too far. Okay, probably shouldn't be traversing this with the camera out, although it's fine. I am going to extend those tripod legs and use them for balancing purposes. Put you in the snow right there. Better. Let's do this. Oh, that's deep stuff. Oh. Pretty view though, but we're not done yet. I think this is one of those times where I'm gonna remember how hard I worked for these images, so I better take my time while I'm here and make the most of it, because I'm not gonna want to do this many more times. At least not without proper snowshoes. And maybe a buddy. I love the solitude though. I thrive in it. It helps me think, clears my mind. Resets the soul, you know? There's a nice little cascade there, that's part of it. And I gotta be extra careful now. It's very slopey here, so I just have to be really careful that I don't slip and slide right into that nice, beautiful river. But there's potential here. It's just I wanna get just downriver of that big boulder, because that's where some more action is. Let's keep trudging through. Oh, I knew it would happen eventually. I'm pretty far from the river, don't worry. But where I thought was a step was actually a nice steep incline, so. Let's get up. Oh man, with all this weight on my back. There we go. All right. All right, have to be very slow and very careful here. To the left of me, I would slide right into that water, probably losing both my camera and this iPhone here. Don't want to do that. So we're gonna very lightly just take steps every couple of inches. Feeling the ground. I know this is where the trail is. I'm walking on top of what I know is big rocks. So I'm just making sure I don't lose my footing. We've got some interesting rock features here. But what I really want is to get down so that I can see upriver more. There's the good stuff. Now, it's gonna be a game of exactly what position I put my feet in to make this work. Because clearly we have this giant boulder as a highlight feature here, but how do you incorporate something so large and make it work with the rest of the scenery? That's the challenge. I'm not done yet, but I just noticed something about my camera that's missing. It probably happened while I was kind of ducking through trees and such. And I even mentioned that I probably should have had my camera put in my bag while I was walking around. This is kind of an odd one, but there's a little door that opens on this small rig L bracket to open the camera battery compartment. That door looks like it got bumped off its hinge and it's just gone. Right there should be a little door that covers, and that door opens up so the camera battery compartment can pop open all the way. But right there is the hinge for it, and the door's gone. My guess is a tree branch knocked it off. Kind of a bummer. Not a huge deal, but I noticed I was just kind of gripping my camera and my finger went through where the door would be. That's okay. This small rig L bracket, I think, was only like $50. Maybe I can find another door part for it, but it's not a big deal. I do think I should take that as a lesson to pack the camera down, at least when I'm traveling in areas that are a little iffy in the terrain. Very, very bright. I'm not sure exactly how to work this. I may have to do an exposure blend to make sure this isn't completely blown out, but to retain detail here. Or I can try and crop it off. I don't think I want to do that though. And would you look at that, I did go in for the crop. So I have my qualms with this image. I like it. I don't love it. And it even took a lot of work for me to get it to where it is, and I still don't love it. Not portfolio worthy whatsoever. In fact, there's only like one image, maybe two, from this whole trip that I might consider portfolio worthy. Not that I have an existing viewable portfolio anywhere these days. But I had a lot of fun throughout the whole trip. Anyway, with this image, couple things. The ratio, the sizing is really weird because I did end up cropping off that bottom portion and then rotating a little bit and then using a little bit of spot healing on the bottom left simply to just remove bits of the brightness of that snow so that I didn't have to crop even further, just to give breathing room underneath that ice, because that's what's important here. The ice is really cool. There's tons of detail. I did have to use some highlights and clarity brushing to kind of emphasize the texture on that ice because I do really like it. But even still, after all this, I was multiple points of editing this image. I wanted to throw it out because I just could never get it compositionally to a point that I was like really comfortable with. I still think there's a little bit of imbalance. Like it's a little heavy and dark on the right, or I guess not heavy, but maybe empty and dark on the right, and heavy on the left with the ice and the brightness in the ice on the left. So I think for me, my mentality is I want to get it as close to perfect in camera as I can, and I couldn't even do that because I started off knowing that I was pretty much going to crop off a relatively big portion of the image on the bottom. So going forward through this editing process, I was really struggling with even wanting to keep it. But it was just enough interest in the subject. I love details, especially with ice formations, because they're so fleeting. You know, on a warm day, all those are going to go away. And then it kind of builds up and changes every single day because there's so much rushing water flowing through. That kind of fleeting moment stuff, I like that. So subject matter wise, I like the image. You can tell me in the comments below if you think ultimately this image works or not. But I think it's kind of poopy, to be honest. It does bring me joy to look at the ice. I'll say that as a documentary style image of what I was doing that day. I'm glad I got this shot to remember. Anyway, back to the video. Oh, hang on a minute. I think I have a composition here I really like, and that was kind of by accident. I have lines that kind of come to the center from diagonal angles. That looks really nice, as long as I can develop interest in the center too. On the boulder, we have two major cracks, kind of three that converge at the center on the boulder face. And then in the top left, we have points of snow that kind of point in towards the center. The bottom left is a little weak with just a smooth organic curvature of the snow. And then it leans out of the bottom right of the frame. So I don't know if this is just, finding the right focal length and angle to make it look a little different. Similar to the windowed shot I got at Canyon Falls in the last video. But I like this type of stuff. I'm gonna work this a little bit, and if this works out, here's the shot. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing on the back of the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot it now, and then we'll get moving. I'm gonna go ahead and heed my own warnings now, and put my camera away. I think it's time to hike out of here. I'm imagining a couple of the things that I wanted to shoot on the way back, and I just don't think they're really worth the effort right now. I'm gonna think on them and maybe come back at another time, but I think for the most part, I got what I wanted out of today's trip. Appreciate you watching. Let me know down in the comments if any of these images tickled your brain at all, or if you'd like any information that I didn't give you here about my approach here today, or just in photography in general. And then also, I'll just plug the Light Over Time podcast. We've been having a good time. I think we produced 44 episodes so far over the last 2 years. We talk about all things photography, news, the shoots we do, anything creative and interesting that's going on. Usually about an hour long. So a nice kind of commute podcast, to work and back, that we produce usually twice a month. So I'll leave a link below to that channel. You can also find it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast normally. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.